welcome along. It's the second part of our Sunday brunch series, and we welcome Josh at Pickering. I'm John McGilvery.
My name's Liam Rudden, and I am sitting here watching my laptop as well at the side here, so I'll be monitoring all your questions coming in. Remember, you can ask Josh Pickering any question you've been waiting to ask him all season today. We've got him live with us. John.
Yes, we do. Josh, welcome along. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no worries. Good to be here, boys.
How you doing, Josh?
Yeah, how are you? How's Brooke? How's everyone getting on over there?
Yeah, mate, everyone's going as good can be, I suppose. This self-isolation, it's stopped me from doing just little things like hanging out with mates and, just doing all general stuff. But as a normal structural point of view, I suppose, I've still been going to work full-time, which has been good. I've been taking Pablo out and, doing a few runs around the golf course, which has been good as well. But other than that, just sort of sitting and waiting to see what's going to happen with everything that's going on.
Yeah, and during the winter there, you got married as well, so congratulations. Normally it takes years before you get to stop seeing your pals, before you kind of go to the pub. Yeah, here you are in a few weeks, and all that stopped already for you.
Yeah, no, that's all right. We've got pretty free reign, I suppose, but it's pretty good in that aspect. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame what's happening around the world so far. But as I was saying before, Australia, it's the mining game sort of keeps everything ticking along pretty well, which is a good thing. But restaurants, clubs, pubs, all that sort of things, they're all shut up shop, which is a bit of a shame. But I suppose it's going to be one big party for everyone once that all opens up.
There will be, and obviously we like to start with the hard-hitting questions here. So, injecting disinfectant, your thoughts on that?
Couldn't even tell you, mate. I don't follow it very closely.
Some man is Trump, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he's just, what he's like. But yeah, it's just hard to see what's going on. Everyone's just got to keep their social distancing to a limit, and hygiene. That's just general hygiene. If people can't keep themselves clean, then you're going to have big issues.
So you've obviously you're doing things to keep yourself fit. I was kind of hoping to see you with a big beard and a packet of salt vinegar crisps or something like that. There, totally let yourself go. But you're saying you're out around the golf course, so you got a kind of routine to keep yourself fit.
Oh, to be honest, mate, like we work some big hours and you're doing a lot of steps a day. Like I'm averaging probably near 10 kilometres a day, just so it's about 6 miles walking at work, and then I'll come home and I'll do probably like a 3K, like a 5-6K run, which is about 3.5-4 mile run. Just take the dog out and, just get out and about and enjoy the weather while we still can. It's daylight savings has just happened recently, which is a bit of a shame because, I was coming home from work and I was having 3 hours to myself, to go for a motorbike ride or do anything like that. But nowadays you get home from work, you got half an hour and it's pretty much dark. So it's obviously not as bad as your winter, but for us, it's a bit of a shock.
So you're still getting out to work okay, Joshy?
Yeah, mate, I've been working pretty much 50 hours every week since I got out of isolation. So when I come into the UK on the 12th of March, I think I landed, or 13th it was. When I landed there, obviously everything's full of encouragement, ready to go, excited to get the season underway, and then sort of watching things that was happening around the world and thought, this isn't looking very good, and it sort of hit UK a little bit later than sort of what I caught on to it, which was lucky in that sense. But I decided to bite the bullet and fly home, which I at first, and even after the first week or even 2 weeks, I was a little bit worried if I made the right decision or not. Just I didn't want to affect the club in any way. If we were to start up, obviously I would have been back, but there was a few things I still had to get done to my bikes, which when we travel to and from every year to do the Australian Championships, I need a lot of stuff as well. So I need to send gear and engines and everything like that. So that was still in transit to land in the UK for me to build the rest of my bikes up, and I was back on my way home before it even got there. So that was a bit of a bummer, but it's how things go sometimes.
So how big a decision was that to make? Because I suppose you didn't really have a lot to go on. You were having to make a decision as events were unfolding. And were the club quite supportive in the fact that you should go home and spend time there when we realised what was going to happen?
Yeah, again, mate, it's just it was a decision that I had to make on my own. There wasn't anyone with any good enough information to keep me there in that sense. No disrespect to John or Alec. They were just telling me the truth. They were like, well, we can't tell you what's going on because we don't know. And that was the same as me. But all I knew was that if things did turn bad quite quickly, I would have been on the other side of the world with no one, or for the sake of a few grand or whatever, bite the bullet, come home, and then if it turned out the other way, I could have flown back and everything would have been okay. But if not, I would have been stuck there and not having an income and not racing. And and realistically, the only reason I'm over there is to race motorbikes anyway. So at least here I can come back, I can work for one of my sponsors, and then just sort of fall back into a normal life. But it's been good in that aspect as well. Like it's with Speedway, you're always thinking of things, always thinking to improve things, and what you think of your engine, and should I try this, should I try that, and yeah, there's a lot of sleepless nights just tinkering your mind. But with doing this, I can just go to work, get given my job, work on it for 10 hours or so, come home, just do normal stuff, which has been cool.
Well, I think it's safe to say you made the right decision. Josh, we've got lots of mentions for you already. Dougie Mercer says hello. Lynette Linton says she's missing you and Brooke. Anne Dunlop says it's great to see you. You've got hellos from Johnny Binney, Ross Ewan and Mary Alice McClellan. Alex Harkis, the big boss, says he hopes you're well. And Lindsay Broff says your 5-year-old best friend, now can I read that name, Harry, is missing.
Yeah, missing Harry too. He's a little legend. But hi to Alec and hi to
missing you more, Josh. If it'll be Harry or Stevie that's missing you more.
Yeah, you don't know. But anyway, Harry keeps a smile on my face, that's for sure. He's a good kid.
We spoke last week to Sam about it. It's always interesting to hear how you guys start out. Where did it all begin for you? What's your local track? What was the starters for you, and what got you into Speedway?
So I started off, me and my cousin, we grew up just riding dirt bikes around like the family's property, and then he actually was the first one to get into racing. And I believe you would have met Matt. He come over in 2017 and spent a month there and helped me out and stuff, which was awesome. But Matty was the first one to start racing, and then obviously, like every other cousin, they just want to do what the other one's doing. That's how we done our whole life growing up. But he had a race bike, and mine was more of a farm bike. And then mum and dad, they with what we done, like they've never done racing before. Dad's always been like a bat and ball type, football player, cricketer, golf player, all that side of things. He's never even ridden a motorbike really. So it was a big shock to him. And I've said that I want to race, and he's like, oh, righto. So he didn't really know anything about it. So he went to our local mini bike club on a Sunday, and we started having a bit of a ride around, and I started to pick it up quite quick. And then a few of the dads and that said that the bike that you've got him on, it's not going to help him progress. It's you need to get him a bit of an upgrade, and they bought me a RM65, and I started to ride that, and again started to pick it up slowly, and then next thing you know, I've been racing for 7 years, and I've rode for Honda Australia, I rode for KTM Australia. I rode for Wayne Gardner. He was a supporter, which was great. And then everything was going good, I suppose. I used to travel, Australia with mum and dad and my sister, and would do all like the New South Wales Championships, the Queensland State Championships, Victorian, the Australian Championships. We've done everything. So by that stage, I won a few Australian titles and multiple New South Wales, Queensland, Victorian champion, and things were looking all right. And then I was invited to Casey Stoner's house to go for a weekend for, I think it was around 2010, 2011 maybe. And then, we was thinking that, we'd probably want to be like him, follow his footsteps and do road racing, and then nothing really come of that. And then, back to dirt track we went. Just it was always a backup plan, and just to keep riding and keep having fun. It wasn't even thought of a career in that sense. I just wanted to keep trying different things. And then, yeah, 2012, I got a phone call to have a meeting with a guy at a local bike shop. His name's Chris Watson, and I went there and he said that he's got a proposal to put forward to me, and that was that Honda Australia's contacted him and wanted to know if we were interested in doing the road racing championship in the Asia Dream Cup. And at this stage, I've never even ridden a road bike, so it was a bit crazy. And then again, that this was, I think, February, and in March was April, I think it was the test at Sepang in Malaysia. That was in 2012. So everything just moved very quick, too soon, and we didn't know what was going on. And I went with friends of ours who went riding down in Adelaide, and that was my first, not first ride. I had a couple of little practices, and then that was my first race meeting. And again, I was lucky enough to pick it up quite quick and end up coming home with a track record, which was pretty cool, I suppose. But we went over and done that, and travelled throughout, Malaysia, Japan, China, Taiwan, Qatar, and done that. So that was supposed to be a 2-year deal, and then actually I think them little red and white leathers you see behind me. So that was that year's, and then we started to do that, and everything was going good. But then the 2-year deal, it come to a 1-year deal, and they didn't end up sending me back. So then we're back at square one again. We've got a dirt bike, and we don't know what we're doing. Road racing become quite expensive for mum and dad quite quick when they wanted to. I was lucky enough to do it overseas and have factory backing in that sense. So myself and dad, we got flights, accommodation, everything paid for, and then bike supplied and everything like that, which was cool. But then, yeah, it all turns just like this. COVID-19 out of nowhere, you've got nothing, you're back on a dirt bike and nothing I can do. So then I got a job. I apprenticed formwork carpenter, started doing that, and I said to Dad, I think we need to get in the Speedway. Lucky enough, the end of 2012, actually, and in 2013, I believe, Adam Shields come home, and then we were thinking about getting a Speedway bike, and Aaron, and then we ended up biting the bullet, and me and Dad went halves in my first Speedway bike. We bought that, and then just had a bit of a practice, and I didn't really know where I was going to be and stuff like that. So we just took it day by day and step by step and tried to improve every time. But I was fortunate enough to have Adam Shields. He actually come in and helped me out quite a bit, just in just general cleaning of the bike and even trying to help me ride the thing. He's like, everyone's got their own style. It's for you to find, but he sort of just give me the generic side of things to get me going in the end, and that was awesome. But then I set a goal then that people like Sam, Rowan, friends that I sort of looked up to back then, and I wanted to do what they'll be doing. I wanted to race overseas, so we set that goal, and that's what I wanted to do that. And then I was a bit unlucky. I got quite sick in 2015, and I wasn't allowed to race at all, which is a bit of a bummer. But then come 2016, I said, right, we want to have a real good year this year. I want to travel everywhere. I think me and Dad done about 35,000 kilometres in the van, which is quite a lot in Australia when there's not a lot of racing going on. So we were going here, there and everywhere trying to get as many laps in as we could. And yeah, we went and done that. And fortunate enough, John sent me an email in December and said that, if you go good in these next state championships, would you consider coming to Edinburgh? And, the rest is history. I've been there. This is going to be my 4th year, and it's a bit of a shame we couldn't get going by now. But again, everything happens for a reason. So we'll just keep going until the next one.
Josh, you've mentioned your mum and dad a few times there. How important has their support been to get you to where you are today?
Everything. They, we're quite lucky. I grew up with 4 older sisters, and I'm lucky enough that, they supported me. They weren't, there was times obviously when they've had to miss out on things because of me, which if I would have known back then that, it's not my say in a way. I was just a young kid that just wanted to ride my motorbike, so I didn't really think about anyone else, which is not very good. But without mum and dad and my family, I wouldn't be where I am right now. So I'm really lucky to have such a great, close, supportive family, and they're happy to be there and do anything they can to help me.
Yeah, you raced in the Steering Championships over the winter there as well, and you finished with a podium in Gilman and 7th overall. How was the experience doing that and the results you got there?
Yeah, it was good. I was a little bit disappointed with how everything turned out there. Like, we started the Australian Championships at Curry, and I got off to a good start, and I won my first heat. And I had the home support. I had all my friends and family, and everyone was there watching, which was like, we don't really get that. Obviously, I race overseas my whole career in speedway, and I don't really get to ride in front of my friends and family very often. So everything was looking good there. Like, we were good, ready to go, and the track, there was a few little dramas there, and just with it being 40 odd degrees, it just broke the track up, and everything else couldn't. It was just a bit of a shambles in that sense. So that meeting had to be cancelled, and then went on to round 2 at Albury, and everything was going okay. We had the bad bushfires around that time, so it was real smoggy, real foggy. I suppose you would have seen the live stream of it. That didn't affect too much of the riding, but it was just a different condition to ride in, and there was just a little bit of a problem with my bike. It just, I was going okay. I think I scored 7 or 8 points. I think it's everything was going okay, but there was just something missing. Every time we'd make a change, it just wouldn't be for the better, and I was a little bit of annoyed. But then the following day we're at Undira, which is a tight technical track. It's probably the closest track in Australia, similar to like a track in the UK, which especially Edinburgh, it's quite tight. It's got long straights, which is similar to Newcastle, and then the corners are like between a Newcastle and an Edinburgh. It's, the only difference is that I don't have much dirt on it, which is a bit of a shame in my sense. But we started there, and it felt good. Like I think I got to win my first heat, and then I got to win my second heat, but my bike started to die, and then it cut out on me, and we didn't really know what the issue was, and we changed the ignition, and we changed a lot of things, but it ended up being the ignition. And again, we couldn't get the thing set up right exactly how we needed it, and it was just one of them nights that just, it could have been good, but it didn't. It was a speedway, and then we're like, right, we're on to Mildura now. New day. That's the best thing about the speedway. It's just, you can have a great night the night before and a terrible night the one after, or it can be vice versa. And we just went there with a fresh head, ready to go, clean bikes, myself and Dad and my engine tuner out here, which is Mark Penfold. So we went there, ready to go, and then everything was going okay. We made the semis, had a couple of heat wins, which was cool. And then I had a drama in the semi, and my bike all got cut out on the line. And then anyway, the following day, that didn't turn out very well that night. And then we went to Sedgie's house. It was myself, Sam, Sedgie, we were all in there washing bikes and talking amongst ourselves. And then I sort of said to him that, I think my carby's, not running right. And Sam's like, give me a look at it. So then he's seen it and realised there was an issue. And then he's fixed the issue, and he's like, righto, he goes, if you beat me tomorrow, I'm not going to be happy. So I was like, righto, then we'll see how we go. And then, there was a couple of little things we were finding the bikes. Sam was finding stuff, Sedgwick was finding stuff, and that's the thing about Speedway. It don't matter how long you've been doing it for or what someone's going to show you something differently, and you're always going to learn. It's just like everything. But, they stuffed around my bike and, got me going, and I'm like, right, we're going to this meeting. Everything's good to go. My carby's good, my clutch is good, my engine's good. I'm going to have a good night. And fortunate enough, I did have a good night. The final didn't go like I wanted to, but, I bet some pretty awesome riders that night, which was cool. And, out of everything in the Australian Championship, I got to be happy. I was the only one that was running the endless tyre, which was awesome. Christian from KLS in Denmark, he got me the contact through them. And then they sent me out 25 tyres for the Australian Championship. And, we done a bit of testing, New South Wales title, and then the Boxing Day meeting, which was cool. And then, done the Australian Championships. And to me, I didn't really notice much difference. So it was good to try something different and be competitive.
Just to remind everybody, if they've just joined us, you're watching Sunday Lunch from EMTV, and you can ask Josh Pickering all the questions you've been waiting all season to ask him. He's live with us from Australia today. Kenny Crichton has left you a message, Josh. Looking cool, kid, he says.
Thanks, Kenny.
Gary Dixon has asked, if riding in Poland last season helped you, if the experience of that helped you, and was it something you'd hope to follow this season? And also Ross Ballantyne's saying he absolutely loves the way you ride. It feels like you have no fear and ride to the limit at all times, and that's something the fans really appreciate.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's just the way it is, I suppose. It's just never die attitude, and you always got to have a crack. So it's not over until it's over. So that's probably the reason why I put myself in some either very good situations or ones that can go either way. But that's just how it is. And what was the question before that one?
Sorry, one of the questions we got, Josh, was from Mark Gibson, and he said, as a rider, what do you enjoy most? Is it a tapes the flag win, or is it a win coming from the back?
Oh, tapes the flag's a
tapes
lot easier.
Tapes the flag's going to be easier.
It's good. Like, you can go out, you can get a win, and you mightn't. With the bike, sometimes I believe if you're following someone, you sort of see where your bike's lacking. When you're, you might spot something where you think you're going to pass them, and then the following lap you go to try that, and your bike don't act like you want it to. So, in that sense, it's sometimes good to come from the from the back, which gives you a bit more idea of how your bike setup is, and little things to change. But then again, as we said before, like from the tapes and just going at your own pace, fresh air, not worrying about having to come past someone without either affecting their race line or your own, and a lot of things come into it. But there's all well and good about being a good hard racer, but in my opinion, need to be safe as well. So either way, win's a win. That other question to do with Paul. I can't remember who said it, but they said about did it help me and what I want to do this year. Especially as soon as I got to the UK, I ran out of, like, everyone's got goals and stuff, and as soon as I got that goal, I thought I didn't know enough about the sport, so I didn't know what was next. And then I was like, right, well, I want to be riding over there like everyone else is doing as well. I want to be the best, and that's what they're doing. So I need to get out to Poland. And again, I'm a big believer in waiting and timing's everything, and it only happens for a reason. So it didn't work out the first year. It didn't work out the second year, but then last year, well, towards the end of 2018, I signed a deal with Wilkie Krosno, and then we were going ahead to go in Poland, and then I was about to go out, and then I had dramas at Edinburgh Airport and couldn't get through. I missed my flights. I missed my first match, which was a bummer. And then we went to go again, and then they all, they said, right, if you go good in your next matches or whatever, then we want to use you. And then I had that crash at Birmingham, and I snapped my shoulder blade and tore a couple of nerves off my rotator cuff in May. So again, then I'm back on the sidelines for 8 weeks, not knowing what was going on. And then we we're going to look at going out again. And then the team didn't use me, which is, it's just how it is in Poland. If they believe someone's going to do a better job, they are a bit ruthless in that sense, and they'll put them in. And, it is a good thing and it is a bad thing. But, again, timing, it wasn't right. It wasn't ready to go. So I didn't let it, knock me around or anything. I just waited and waited. And then I got a phone call to say that they've made the playoffs and they want to use me in the playoffs. And I thought, far out. I haven't raced there all year. Now they want to put me in the most important match. So I was a little bit, concerned. And we had a busy weekend with Edinburgh, and everything was just sort of like, oh, right, I'm feeling good. I'm ready to go. Like, let's just go out there and have a crack. And I was fortunate enough. Richie actually, he come with me. We went out there, and I had a good meeting. I got put in the team. We had practice the day before, and then they decided to use me, obviously. And then we went out there. I won, got second my first race, and then I won my next two, and then full of confidence, everything's ready to go. And then I only ended up with 11 points, which is obviously still good, but I wanted more. I got to race in heat 15, and then the following week I got asked to come back, and we went to the round 2 at Big Gosh, and I actually got put as a number 1 rider. So I've been racing for 3 years in the UK, and I've been a heat leader and things like that, but I've never been number 1. And for them to put me straight as a number one, I thought, wow, this is pretty surreal. And then, I just knuckled down. I had Richie and Ryan with me this time, so feeling good. I had the boys with me. We were having a good laugh, and everything was good to go. And then, went out, won my first heat, and I think I scored 9 points. Yeah, so over the 2 matches, I scored 20 points for my first 2 matches in Poland, so I can't complain. But I had every intention to go good over there this year. I was ready to go. Like, my equipment was perfect, same as in the UK. And, yeah, we're ready to do business. But with everything out happened, it's the way it's turned out. And I'm back home sitting in my shed talking to you boys. So, yeah.
Talking about goals, Josh, Christopher Black and Scotty Girdwood have both want to know your thoughts on the Premiership. Were there any clubs that are showing interest over the winter? Do you think you're ready to make that move up?
Yeah, I think on a mental point of view and even physical, like I believe I could hold my own in that league. You're right against similar riders in the Championship League, so again, Speedway, it's an average game, and sometimes you don't meet the criteria in that sense. But yeah, I'd love to race in the Premiership, race against not say better riders, but riders more experienced, and they've been doing it a lot longer, and they are a lot better in that sense. That's why they are in the Premiership. So for me to take the next step mentally and to get me riding a lot better, I need to be in that league. I didn't get as much offers as I wanted to, but again, you got to make do with what you had. I just looked at take the good out of the bad. I was going to be racing in the UK, and then I was going to be racing again in Poland. So all my ideas were to score as many points as I can to sort of show them what they're going to be missing out on.
And Andrew Jeffrey asks if you'd set yourself any goals for the season. Would that have been one of your goals?
One of my goals would be getting into every single home match. That would be nice. but yeah, with goals and things like that, yeah, for sure, I'd love to be in the Premiership. I want to be as busy as possible. I'm there to race motorbikes. That's why we make the long haul over. And if I could be racing every day of the week, I would be. That's what I enjoy doing. It's no different to what I'm doing at the moment. I'm working every day, so there's no reason why I couldn't be racing. But again, we just wait. We wait and see how it all pans out. It wasn't a matter of waiting to see you got better offers or anything like that. I was ready to go regardless of that sense. I believe, it don't matter what you're going to be doing. Money comes later in whatever you decide to do. So you got to put the hard effort in first. So I was just ready to sort of put to them to what I could prove. And, it's a bit of a shame that it didn't turn out that way.
Yeah, it's, as you said, it would have been your 4th year in the Monarchs, and it will be eventually when it does start. You're part of a very strong heat leader trio, in my eyes certainly, with yourself, Sam and Richie. How frustrating, you must have been going into the year thinking, we've got ourselves a good team. You're part of a trio. We're looking at big things from you. How frustrating is it that you haven't been able to get to start?
Yeah, it is frustrating to a sense. It's just, like I was talking to Sam, like I talk to Sam quite often, but especially on that topic, I said I've been, my first season, Sam was there, and then he wasn't there for the last 2, and he come back for the last half of last year, which was awesome. But I said to Sam, like, I want to win some trophies for the club. Like, they've done a lot for me, and like I feel like I haven't done enough for them. I want to, not only for myself and for the team that I'm in, but for the club. Like, I want to be part of a winning team for the Monarchs. And at the moment, it hasn't really come, so it's been a bit unfortunate. But I would love to go there and, myself, Rich, Sam, even having Kaisi in the team this year, having Sarge and Willie from last year, and then having Lassie. I don't know much about Lassie, but if any of them was, as keen as me to go ahead and get everything going, then I believe we're going to have a good side, and we could have done a lot of good things. But again, we just got to wait and see how it all pans out. Whether we get there in a month, 2 months, 3 months, or next year, like, I'm ready to go.
Josh, Scott Somerville says you always have a positive outlook on whatever you're talking about. In any situation, you come across as being very positive, and he wonders where you get that philosophy from.
My mum. She's she's been dealt with a lot of bad cards for my life growing up. So yeah, she's the strongest person I know. She's awesome for our family, and yeah, there's always a brighter day. But so you got to
I think
set
it's
goals.
always
And you gotta
emotional when
achieve
you
them.
return home at the end of a season then.
Yeah, it's good. As I was
David
saying,
Cunningham
we've got
has a
close
question
family.
for you. He wants to know if when you're doing one of your outside passes, if you shout in your helmet and use colourful language if the other riders get too close, and also if after you've blasted around the outside you ever think, oh, that was mental.
Yeah, both actually. Yeah, well, back in the day, especially when I used to be riding around the backyard, I can't remember doing it, but you know, my dad and my sister used to laugh at me because I'd be screaming at myself in the helmet for doing things and that. But obviously, I had no idea what I was doing. But there's been some times when I've made some passes, and you know, you're coming off the corner, and I'm obviously either planning on going round them in the corner, or my next move would either be dive bombing them going into the next corner, or going around the outside of them again. And there was a couple of times last year, especially, like we come out of turn 4 and there was a person on the inside of me and I'm winding it up, and then, you know, all of a sudden you run out of room and you're like, do I shut off? And then it's too far by that time and you got to go through it. So sometimes you got to, you know, tuck in and make sure you do get that real tight thing. And yeah, to answer his question, after it does happen, I do count me lucky stars and think, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Yeah.
Well, you've got the Mr. Entertainer tag that goes with that, though, Josh. What's been some of your favourite riders? We spoke to Sam last week about riders he's ridden with and guys he loved riding alongside. Who have been the guys that you've really enjoyed racing alongside?
Richie. He's me and Rich, I feel like, we're awesome mates off the bike, and then especially on track, we when was that, 2018, we were a pretty good pairing there when he come back from Glasgow. We were at 3 and 4 there, and you know, we just got each other. We didn't get in each other's way. And for example, if one of us was a bit slower on the night and popped out in front of one another, we'd sort of just give ourselves space and, you know, let the quicker rider come through, which is good in that sense. But again, I've rode with awesome riders. I've rode with, you know, Joel. He was awesome to ride with. Cleggy back in the day, like we, I enjoy riding with every rider. But I think Rich the most. He gives me the most. Peace in my mind, knowing that it don't matter what I do to him or he's going to do to me, we're going to give enough room to each other. So you sort of got to have that in a pairing.
Well, you might have noticed that I'm sitting here wearing a black and orange T-shirt, Josh. This is courtesy of What the Fork, Monarch's sponsors. So I think we need to give them a wee shout. Here's their logo, and it ties in with a question from Christopher Black, because he asks, is there any food from the UK that you miss back home? Maybe What the Fork could deliver to you.
Well, I know for a fact it's not what Chris is talking about. He's talking about a Dylan's Pizza, and yes, I would love one of them. But me and myself, Ryan Rhea, and Brooke, we went to another restaurant called Dakota. That was near Glasgow. That was unreal. They had awesome steak there, which I really enjoyed that. But yeah, we didn't go out a lot. Obviously, everyone loves the Nando's, which is good to go there. But I love steak. I love eating good steak. So yeah, definitely a steak. But you got to chuck a pizza in as well.
And this is Sunday lunch with Josh Pickering. What did you have for Sunday lunch, Josh?
Sunday lunch, I had a chicken, lettuce, cheese, tomato wrap. So that was all right.
That sounds good. You're making me hungry now. Leanne Hutchinson says, it's lovely to see you, Edinburgh Monarchs karting king. And yep. Are you up for the karting again this season if the situation allows?
Of course. Need to retain my title.
So have you had any thoughts or any word about when you would want to get back over, Josh? Have they said anything to you, or what's the word over there?
Yeah, well, when I get told we're going to be racing, I'll be booking my flight the following day. So want to get over there, get things organised, have a practice. I haven't raced since I haven't even rode a bike since I think January 11th. So it's been quite some time. But there's a lot of riders in the same boat. But so we've just got to wait and see. And if things turn out when we can get racing, I'll be booking a flight the following day, and I'll be out of here. But again, working for one of my sponsors, Meckrick Mining Services, they do like a labour hire recruitment up the valley, and doing all them things with electricians and stuff like that. But doing what I do in that sense, like Mark's one of my good mates, and he knows that this is a short-term thing, and he said to me, he always saying, "Oh, I'll give you apprenticeship to being an electrician." I'm like, "Nah, I'm not interested, but I'm happy to work for you until I need to go racing." So he's happy with that. And for example, if we got off the phone now and got told I could be there next week, if I rang him and said, "Mate, I won't be into work tomorrow," he would not care one bit. He'd wish me all the best, and I'd see him at the end of the year.
Gary Dixon's asked, what's been your favourite track and your least favourite track in the UK so far?
If you ask me, 2017, least favourite was Newcastle. I did not like it at all. It's like every year you take a liking to another track because you get to learn it a bit more. But then it's hard to say. My favourite track now, I'm getting my head around Edinburgh, which it's going to be good to continue to learn that place and sort of pencil myself in some double-figure points every week. That's what I wanted to do. But you got to enjoy going to Redcar. Like it's a nice facility. It's a good shaped track. It's just one of them tracks as well. In 2017, I think from my 2 times I raced there, I got 3 points from both matches. So I wasn't good at the place. I like the look of it, but I wasn't very good. But now I think maybe Berwick. That's not a favourite track of mine. I'm not a very good gator, as we all know, but it's very short, narrow run to the first corner, and the square type track, it don't allow for much passing. I know there's been times when I have got through and things like that, but it's a lot harder to do so. But my favourite track now, it's either Edinburgh or Newcastle. I love Newcastle now. I've got my head around that, which is cool, and I've scored double-figure points pretty much every time I've been back there. So it's either Edinburgh or Newcastle.
Freddie Roddick asks, Josh, what's been your most memorable race, or memorable race even, at the Monarchs, and what's your favourite line to ride?
I'll probably win off 15 metres, either at Newcastle or at Edinburgh last year on Cam Heat's bike. That was pretty cool. Like, I had a crash the race before, and then it was going to be my last race of the season, and I've gone out and my bike wouldn't start, and I'm screaming off the track. I'm like, "Someone get me a bike, get me a bike." And Cam, lucky enough, he's come running through and, gets on his bike. At this stage, I've been disqualified, and John's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm going off 15 metres." He's like, "Okay." So then I've went straight off 15, and I've just had every intention to win it. And yeah, lucky enough, I come through and got the win. And I think that's like a memorable race for me. I haven't had any really I wouldn't say not important, but there hasn't been enough on the line, enough pressure, for me to do something for the club. Like, we need to win this race, or we won't win this championship, or such thing. But with that race of 15 metres, I had every intention to win it. It was a cold night. It was a bit rainy. I was on someone's bike I've never even sat on. So there's a lot of things going through my head, but the only thing I really worried about was winning. So I was lucky enough to do that.
And Craig Cusack's asking, have you any plans to sell merchandise? He'd love a cap or a T-shirt.
Yeah, when we get back over, I've done a bit before, as we all know, in the past. But at the moment, mate, depends, which company you use to get the stuff and where they get their products from. It's a matter of whether they can, get your shirts you need in the time frame you need to have it by. But merchandise is an important thing, and to me, last time I done it, I don't really think I made much money about it, if any money at all. But all my intentions was to fill the hill in my colours, and that's what I wanted to do. So yeah, never say never. It's just going to be a matter of when we can get things going again. But it's probably something I should start looking at to keep all the fans interested and getting ready to go. So when they do go to their first match, they can be looking very sharp.
Yeah, one of the questions I was going to ask you earlier on, but I felt it was unfair when I said about who your favourite riders were. But thankfully, Grant Simpson's popped up there and he said, is there any riders that you don't like racing against?
Against? No. None really come to mind, to be honest.
Where it's giving you a bit of a hard time that are a bit unfair.
It's not that I don't like race. There's no one in particular I don't like racing against. The only racing I like to do is, good, hard, fair racing. You give each other enough room and so on, things like that. But no, I don't really have anyone in particular that stands out that I've always had a bad race with or anything like that. So, yeah, I can't really answer that question.
Scott Goodwood actually has a good question here as well. Thoughts on your first ever heat at Armadale in the Scottish Open?
Yeah, that's the one that got away from me. I still stew over that. I coming out with a standard gate of mine back in that sense. So it wasn't a very good one, but I've cut back to the inside and I found myself in the lead in front of Richard Lawson, Aaron Summers and Theo. And I was gone. They were never going to catch me. And I've come onto the last lap and I've gone to turn one, just thrown it all away. I think the nerves got the better of me. So, again, right now, it still, chews me up a little bit, just the fact that I didn't just slow down and, ride with the sense I've got now. It's just a learning thing. And I wasn't the same rider I am now. And that's the best thing about progression. But if I was to go back with the same mentality I'd have now, I would have looked behind, I would have calmed down, I would have made sure I just completed the race safely.
Christopher Black also asks, how was the experience of Lodz when you rode there? And he thinks it was 2018. Did you enjoy that?
Where was that, sorry?
Lodz, Poland.
Oh, Woods. Yeah. That's that was awesome. I was one of my good mates is Rowan Tungate and he said, we're running this test match. It's Australia versus Denmark versus Poland versus Russia. I'll get you started if you want to do it. I went, yeah, I'd love to. But again, at this stage, I didn't have any bikes out there. I've never been out there. I raced there in 2017 for the Australian team in the Under-21 World Cup. But other than that, I've never even been there. So I was like, yeah, I'd love to, but I just need to chase up some bikes. And I was talking to Richie, and he just goes, look, mate, I've got bikes out there. I've got a mechanic. You've got everything you need. Just I'll let you borrow it if you want to go out there and have a ride. So thankfully enough, it's hard to find people like that, and especially when you don't really know them very long. So Rich for doing that for me, it's never going to be forgotten, and I really appreciate that. But we got out there, and the facility was unbelievable. It was a new stadium, it was a new track, and again, it was every intention for me. I think there was 15,000 people there, so it was a full stadium. It was pretty hectic, and I had every intention of doing good and sort of leaving me mark. And I had my first heat. I think I had Peter Kilderman. I can't think off my head. I know Peter Kilderman was one of them because I was leading the race and he crashed and there was a rerun, so I was filthy. And then I went back out in the rerun and got a third, which is obviously it was okay, but there was only 3 in the race, so it wasn't what I wanted. And then I got a win after that. I might have had 2 wins. I can't remember. I think I got 8 or 9 points I ended up on. So that was awesome. But it was, again, you're riding against a lot of great people in a huge stadium. So it was great to be a part of. And, yeah, to answer his question, it was an awesome track.
Julie McDonald, Josh, is asking, do you have any goals around getting into the GPs?
Yeah, I do, actually. I'm a bit more of a realist. I don't think of goals that's, too distant in the future. I need to work on myself as a rider a bit more. I need to be in the premiership especially. I need to be a number 1 rider in the championship. I need to be going good in Poland every single week. Everywhere I'm racing, I need to be scoring minimum double-figure points. But that's why I do the Australian Championship, not only to keep fit and keep race mode on, but the top 3 in that get the Speedway qualifiers, like for the Grand Prix qualifiers. You get a spot there, and then anything can happen in them meetings. So I do. And everyone, when they're racing, they want to be the best in the world, and I'd love to be on the Grand Prix stage. But we've just got to wait and see how everything goes first.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, certainly. I think the last question we'll have, Josh, Lynette Linton's asking, do you remember anything about your crash at Birmingham, meeting away from home? You mentioned it earlier on.
Yeah, I do actually. I remember nearly everything of that match. It was just a track I've never been to before. It was quite bumpy. It was a bit wavy, and I was scoring okay. I've made a complete different change for Heat 15, and I've went out there and I've cut back to the inside. I was having obviously I'm not the sharpest away from the gates from previous times, but I was having quite a difficult time getting off the starts at Birmingham. They were very slick, and I made a couple of changes, and that didn't help there. But I had a lot of speed on the track, and come off the corner, I was in second, and I clipped the back wheel of Paco Castagna, and then away we went. And I don't remember anything from that. I remember waking up in the ambulance, and I was a bit groggy and things like that. But apparently I was knocked out for 3.5 minutes, and words of Ricky Wells is he's seen a lot of crashes and he's been a lot of people knocked out, but he's never heard anyone snore like I was snoring. So he was quite concerned. But I got my sense, and then I had Brooke with me and Robert. So Robert Tully, he's been with me since pretty much my third meeting, I think, since 2017. We went to Peterborough, and he hasn't missed a meeting since. So he was with me, which was awesome to have. And we went to the hospital in the ambulance, I think, and they met me there. And again, I was still sort of in and out and coming and going, but they sort of sent me home, and we had the long drive back up from Birmingham at like 2:00 in the morning. So I don't think we ended up getting home till 4 or 5 o'clock, I think. And I had a very, very, very big headache and a sore shoulder. So yeah, I do remember it.
Alex Harkis, sorry, John. Alex Harkis has sent you a message, Josh, just saying best wishes to all the family, and he'll see you soon.
Yeah, big wishes to you too, mate. I hope you're not missing me too much, but I'll be over there soon to give you a big cuddle.
Just before we go, Josh, have you got any messages for the fans and for the Edinburgh supporters?
Yeah, everyone just needs to keep with a positive attitude. They need to continue to do the self-isolation, to a point of view. I know it gets hard, and especially like people like myself, I hated being in self-isolation. But lucky for me, my job's essential in doing what we're doing, so I've been lucky enough to leave the house and stuff. But Brooke, on the other hand, she's been out of work for a month, and she's feeling the complete opposite effect of me. She can't do anything. She can only really leave to go to the grocery store. But if everyone just needs to do their bit, and hopefully that they either find a cure or everything dies down, and we can get back to living a normal life. But at the moment, I think you just got to make do with what you have, take the best out of a bad situation, and find your peace at something else. I've been playing quite a bit of ping pong, as you can see in the background. That's been keeping our competitive side going. But my bike's over there. They've been undercover. So, they're just waiting, sitting like everyone else. But, again, just everyone, I hope everyone stays safe and everyone's excited to get the season back going again. And once it is, I want to see as many faces there as possible.
Listen, Josh, we better let Liam go and do his deliveries. He'll be away with that shirt on, getting the food around Edinburgh. Listen, it's been a great opportunity to speak to you. It's been good, hopefully, for the fans as well. They've got their questions across to you. I don't know when we'll see you again, Josh. Hopefully sooner rather than later. But we do appreciate you taking the time out to do this with us. And stay safe. And best wishes to Brooke, to your family, and everyone over in Australia.
Thanks very much, guys. All the best, and take care, and hopefully see you soon.
Cheers, Josh.
See you, mate.
Thanks very much, Joe. Well, thanks for joining us for Sunday Lunch with Josh Pickering. Hopefully, we'll be back next week with a new guest. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on social media to see who'll be joining us for Sunday Lunch next week.